It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the third day of September 2020. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. We regularly talk about all facets of the travel and cruise industry on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, something major happens in the meantime, I either go live or post a new video accordingly. So make sure, if you want to keep up with the latest in the travel and cruise industry and its happenings, make sure you hit the little subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner. And of course, the bell notification will tell you when I go live or when I post a new video. So, and as always, folks, we appreciate thumbs up. It lets you two know that somebody out there is actually watching. All right, we got a bunch of stuff to cover this morning. I will say hello to Tom Henry. Tom Henry, a couple of things that, he may or may not be mentioning in chat. One, of course, he had another rocket launch this morning, so he got to see another rocket launch. And yesterday, he got on a boat. He was out there on that casino cruise out of Port Lauderdale again. Out of Port Canaveral. And rumor has it that he won a bingo game. Just passing that along. But anyway, Tom's, of course, down there in Florida. And he's getting on a boat. He's doing something that most of us haven't been able to do. So let's see. Tom's here. Gretchen's here. Nikki's here. Welcome to all you guys. Okay. We got to talk about weather again this morning. It's my lead story, but it's not as important as it's been. It's not as dominating a story as it's been. But we got to look at weather. Overnight. Hurricane Hanna roared ashore near Dangriga, Belize, before weakening to tropical storm status. Heavy rains and localized flooding continue in Belize, northern Honduras, and southern Mexico. However, all coastal watches and warnings have been discontinued as it weakens. Hanna became the fifth hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic Basin season. The others were Hanna, Isaias, Laura, and Marco. Hanna was a relatively small hurricane. Of course, it only got to Category 1 before it started weakening. The strongest winds actually only extended about 10 miles from the center and about 70 miles total on the tropical wind field, which is relatively small. However, down there in Central America, that whole area is extraordinarily prone to localized flooding, and they're going to have quite a bit of that because it's going to dump some rain. It's going to go on across Central America into the Pacific. It's not expected to reorganize or strengthen any due to the conditions once it gets to the Pacific Basin. Now, other things to point out in the Atlantic Basin, if you look off the coast of like Virginia now, is tropical depression Omar. Let me check the latest update on Omar to see what it says. And for some reason, it's not coming up. Oh, well. So anyway, Omar is out there in the vicinity of, I see why it's not. I'm not on the right thing. There we go. Okay, Omar, as of 11 o'clock, the advisory, it's still 1,005 millibars, so that stayed pretty steady. Wind speeds are down to 35 miles an hour. It's moving east at 13 miles an hour, so it's just kind of going to fluff around out there in the Atlantic until it dies. So Omar's not expected to be any major issues. Now, here's where we actually have some problems is over here in the Atlantic off the coast of Africa. The second X, the one closest to like the United States, okay? That is Invest 91L, I think the numbering system is. It's expected to strengthen over the next 5 days, about a 40% chance. Now, the one closest to Africa, which is 92L, is supposed to have about a 70% chance of strengthening. And the problem with these two storms is we're not sure, I say we, the weather folks are not sure what's going to happen, whether 92L is going to overtake 91L, whether 92L might loop around 91L and lead toward the Leeward Islands. They're not sure. However, the conditions are extraordinarily good for either one or a combination of the two or both, strengthening, getting to at least tropical storm and possibly hurricane status, and start heading across in the general path that these storms take this time of year. So it's definitely one that we got to watch. Now, also keep in mind that we're now moving into the heart of the hurricane season, despite what this season has been so far, as we're obviously up to O's in the alphabet on the Atlantic with 5 hurricanes. And we're not to the halfway point, the middle of the season yet. We're getting there. Another week or so, we'll get to the heart of the season. But it looks like this is something we got to watch over the weekend. So that takes care of the weather for today. Something that I have to admit, I get kind of tired of talking about weather. And this time of year, it seems like, every show you got to talk about weather in some way or another. Nothing to talk about on the Pacific side of things, which is a good thing. All right. Our friends over in Scotland and Wales have issued travel warnings, quarantine restrictions between Greece and Scotland. The Scottish government announced travelers will be expected to isolate for 14 days as they arrive back in the country, and that's after 4 o'clock today. So the new travel restrictions between Scotland and Greece go into effect. That's actually Scotland and Wales. Between Greece go into effect today. Similar measures have been introduced in Wales, but not in England. So England has not issued those restrictions yet. Scotland has. So just pointing that one out for the folks over on the other side of the pond. For some reason, after Holland America sold the 4 ships, we didn't know where 2 of them were going. Oh, finally, the news is out of the bag. Now, why this was kept a secret, I have no idea. But the Greek ferry company Sea Jets is the new owner of the recently sold Holland America ships, the Veendam and the Maasdam. Once things get back to normal, Sea Jets will enter the highly competitive cruise market with 3 cruise vessels in the fleet, as the company had already bought the cruise ship Oceania from P&O, and they're expected to try to compete in the Greek market, which just got the travel restrictions. But that's not that important. Obviously, over time, that will change. So, on the local side of things, the CDC has told public health officials around the United States to prepare to distribute potential coronavirus vaccine as soon as late in October. Now, don't get your underwear in a twist, folks. All I've been able to gather, and this does not mean that a vaccine is going to be ready in October. This apparently is the CDC getting the states prepared to distribute the vaccine if and when it comes, and they just stuck this date of where they had to be ready by the end of October. I can't find anybody that's saying there's going to be a vaccine ready in October. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite, because the leading candidates, the ones that are apparently closest to a production, the trials won't even be done by then. And a vaccine is something that you have to have proof that, number one, it's effective, and number two, it's safe to use. So there's just no way, as much as everybody wants to shortcut something to get rid of the coronavirus, it's not going to happen, folks, until they finish the tests, and we know for sure this vaccine is going to work. So please, people, don't believe everything you've been hearing. Also, don't believe that this whole herd immunity thing, which to me is the most bizarre thing I've heard yet, that maybe the government that wants everybody to get sick and you get herd immunity, and that's the way out of it rather than waiting for the vaccine. Well, if you take the absolute minimum case numbers, it would take something in the vicinity of 60% of the population to reach herd immunity, where it would actually start being beneficial. And then if you have 1% mortality rate, which is lower than it is anywhere in the country, you're talking about 2.5 to 3 million additional deaths. Now, I'm sorry, there's no way in hell anybody wants to see that happen. So this whole concept of herd immunity as being the cure for the coronavirus, man, people, you need to start looking at people that know what they're talking about, not snake oil salesmen. I wasn't going to rant. So anyway, yeah, the country is getting ready to distribute vaccines. Just don't get your hopes up that it's ready yet, because it ain't anywhere near it. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Galveston, Texas. Royal Caribbean said yesterday, some kind of meeting of big hoo-ha politicos down there in Texas with the Port of Galveston trustees, that Royal Caribbean plans to begin construction of the new cruise terminal in Galveston in April of 2021. Now, most of you probably remember that was supposed to already be under construction, and coronavirus caused a delay. They went before this same board and said, look, there's no way we can start on the construction yet. They didn't have anybody to build it, number one. But anyway, now they've got a set start date of April of 2021. So that's probably going to take a couple of years for that to be done, but at least that we are heading toward the Galveston Royal Caribbean base, where they will be able to handle the largest ships in the Royal Caribbean fleet there in Galveston. So, Round Hill. Any of you ever heard of Round Hill? Round Hill is a legendary resort in Montego Bay, Jamaica, that's owned by Ralph Lauren. And as a matter of fact, he designed some of the villas for the resort. But it's a boutique hotel that's part owned by designer Ralph Lauren, who also designed the guest rooms and some of the boutiques. It has officially reopened. The Greater Montego Bay Area Hotel opened its doors on September 1st. Now, I will say that Chillie's Cruises and the Cruise Amigos have requested an interview with someone from the hotel on up to Ralph Lauren. And we'll see if somebody comes back and decides that they're going to talk to us. We have made the request, and that is happening now. Now, since we're talking about big name folks, let's talk about Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has gone ahead and hired 2 cruise ships so that the filming can be completed on his 7th Mission Impossible movie. The movie can finally wrap up soon thanks to Rudy Gruten. The Expedition Cruise Line has rented out 2 of its cruise ships to the movie production company True North. Actually, that's pretty cool. Number one, it gives the cruise lines making a little bit of money on a couple of ships that are sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And of course, Tom Cruise is going to get that movie finished. I don't know, they started filming it, 1825 or something. I don't know, a long time ago. So Tom Cruise folks are going to get that done. The other thing that to mention this morning, I actually talked yesterday to O'Neill Koza from Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line. They've again delayed their sailing plans. Now they're going to resume. They hope to, and he did say hope to, resume cruises on November the 4th aboard the Grand Celebration. The second ship, the Grand Classica, will be idled at least until March the 3rd. Of course, they had been planning on returning in October. They continue to monitor the situation and communicate with the Bahamian government on their plans to allow leisure guests to return, and have determined that a further extension is in the best interest of Bahama Paradise guests and crew. I would also point out that there was no comment whatsoever about the lawsuit, and other than he's under the impression that it has been resolved. However, that is still not totally official yet as far as the courts are concerned, but it does appear that it has been resolved. Of course, the CDC still has to lift their no sail order, which is set to expire September 30th. But most major cruise lines have canceled sailings through at least mid-December, with at least one cruise line planning to delay service until early March 2021. Now, I know some of you out there are continuing to report stories to me about all of 2021 is canceled by cruise lines, and this person is not going to be sailing at all in 2021. Folks, that's not happening. And those of you that think that some of these people that pop up with this crap on Facebook or other places online know what they're talking about, I'm sorry, but they don't. The latest is March 2021 that anything has been canceled at this point. Okay? I get 50 to 60 PR statements, press releases daily from cruise lines. And when something's going to happen on the schedule, I'm going to know about it as quickly as probably, we're all in the same boat that are in this space. We all get the same press releases that are sent out by the cruise lines. And believe me, we're not going to make it a secret if somebody's canceled crap through the whole year next year. So I get frustrated when people keep sending me information that I know is blatantly untrue. Yeah, there are some specialty cruises that have been canceled, individual specialty cruises, like big groups on a cruise for, some rock and roll band, and they, called it off, or some, theme cruise has been postponed. That doesn't mean that the industry is shut down for 2021. Yeah, and it might happen, folks. But man, quit believing this crap. Holy goodness gracious. If you don't want to believe me, fine. Believe somebody else that's in this business that stays on top of this and knows what they're doing, and quit spreading this crap around. And that does us more harm than good. I wasn't going to rant today. Oh, well. All right, let's go see who's with us today. I'll quit ranting now. Let my blood pressure get back to normal. Let's see. Where are we? We were talking about Tom and Nikki and Gretchen. Okay, Tom says, not from this morning out of camera, pointed a bit off and the rocket was a bit high by the time I found it. Oops. Well, Tom, we won't hold it to you. You're not a professional photographer for rocket launches. The network guys do that sometimes too. It was a bit hazy view today, so not the best. The NASA camera was east pointing west and had a much better view. Check out WPTV posts and Facebook. They had a great launch video feed from NASA. I do. That's one of the things I learned from Emily was to check out some of the NASA stuff. And I had not followed them like I should have all this time. I have started now following NASA and some of their stuff. So Tom is absolutely right on that. Stage 1 had a successful landing on the drone ship. I think I still love you. What a name for a barge. Isn't that the truth? Emily's with us. Good morning, gang. Hi, Em. Hi, Gretchen. Everybody saying hello back and forth here. Tom Henry. I have a small drone I'm going to try flying in an open field next to the building where he is. No camera set up yet. Got to figure out how to fly the thing first. Boy, I'd be over my head. And Gretchen wants to know, where's your jetpack? Couldn't you see Tom Henry with a jetpack flying around Port Canaveral? That'd be cool. I love it. Emily wants to know, how are Charmin and Cottonelle? Cottonelle has been bad. She's just been a pain. It's been a pain in the butt today. Charmin, who's normally the wild and woolly one, has been calm. So neither one are here now. I haven't heard them for the last little bit. They've both been in here this morning. I was expecting them to hop up on the desk once I started talking, but they didn't. So who knows with those two? Actually, yesterday, you'll appreciate this one, Emily. Cottonelle, who's the smaller of the two, not that either one of them are small, but the smaller of the two saved the house from being attacked by Gila monsters. Actually, we've had a little lizard, a little skank, about long, that got in the house. And I was trying to get the little lizard out of the house. My sister had a hold of Cottonelle. Charmin, who knows where Charmin was? But Cottonelle was on my sister's lap. So I propped the screen door open about 2 inches and got over behind the little lizard to swish him toward the door. And Cottonelle saw him and bolted out of my sister's arms, went hauling ass out through the screen. I dove for him because they're indoor cats. I dove for him out on the front porch, banged my head, my shoulder, and my knee going down, grabbed him just before he went diving into a damn rose bush. As he was going after the poor little lizard. Now the lizard escaped. I got him back inside, banged up knee and all. So, yeah. And then, of course, he spent 2 hours trying to figure out what the hell happened to the lizard. So it's always something with the two cats. So everyone say that Tom Cruise is reserved to. Yeah, I just said, oh, yeah, Tom must have typed that in before I did my story. Yes, that's I talked about that, Tom. I posted the CDC information on TWB. Amazing, all the negative responses. Well, I'm still not sure exactly why they did it, Tom. because there's no way anybody's going to have a vaccine ready in October. I mean, I could, let me go out in the garage and I'll whip up a vaccine and put it in a vial and sell it to somebody and call it a vaccine. What the hell? That's about what you get if you think there's going to be one in October. It would be nice if we get one that's actually tested and proven to have the efficacy we need by the end of the year. And most of the experts are still saying into next year before that can even be done. So I realized the whole thing on trying to speed things up. I understand that, and I'm all in favor of them getting things as quickly as you can. But it's got to be done right. And this is one step you can't just shortcut. So Emily says, hello, Nikki. The announcement smells of trying to promote re-election points. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably exactly what that is. There's Pete. Pete did wake up today. Hello, folks from wet London. Hope you all are okay. Cheers, Pete. Yeah, it's wet here in Virginia, too. We've had a ton of rain and going to have a ton more. But also, before the storms hit last night, and it was another doozy, here I went out to get in the pool yesterday because it was hot. I mean, it was 90 in the 90s again. But it was a couple of cold nights, and that water was cold. I got in as far as sitting on the edge of the pool and putting my bad knee down in the cold water and kicking it back and forth until my toes went numb. And then, of course, we had a storm on top of that. So it's going to be back in the 90s here again today. So I'll try again. But, that water got awfully cold in a couple days there. Tom Henry says herd immunity. I am picturing the herd stampeding and running over the edge of a ravine. Yeah. I don't understand what some people are doing on this one. Sonny's here. Good morning, Chillie and all. Good morning, Sonny. The one thing I didn't talk about is Sunday. I'll do that here in a second. Emily says I'm always allowed to rant. Yeah, I did some ranting today. I hadn't planned on it. Have I heard from Bruce yet? No, I haven't. I'll send him another email. See, I have trouble sometimes getting him to, I don't know if he doesn't read emails regularly or something, but sometimes it takes him a while to respond to them. But yeah, I want to get him on here because I want to talk about the stock market. And I want to talk about cruise stocks and how they're where they are. And because I don't understand it. I'm not smart enough to understand it. Yeah, he wasn't ready when I talked to him last about it. So, but I'm still working on trying to get him to come through. I'll have him on one of the shows. Okay, everybody's just chatting back and forth, which is great. All in favor of that. NCL missed its end of August cruise update. So much so that promise was hoping maybe yesterday, but have not seen anything yet. Wow. Yeah, I should have, because we're in September now. They should have done that. So, Gretchen says their anniversary cruise is December 4th, 2021, the Sky Princess. Well, that's going to be after my cruises in October of 2021. I hope about then, surely everything will be back to normal. I hope. Cindy's with us from Dallas. Hi, Cindy. One of these days, I got to ask Cindy if she's a Dallas Cowboy fan. So, anyway, all right. The one thing that I failed to talk about today before I wrap this up is Sunday. The Cruise Amigos on Sunday is from London. Is going to have somebody that I enjoy immensely. I've chatted with her several times now, Shelby Fournette. She's really an influencer in the travel industry. She's an expert on solo travel, even though she's married. And that's one of the things I want to talk to her about. Travel.fun is her outfit. I'm not sure if she is a travel agent per se or not. I think she might be, but that's okay, one way or the other. But the most important thing, she spent 2,500 days at sea. So, and she's right up my alley. She just seems like she's a barrel of fun. So I'm looking forward to that on Sunday. Pete actually arranged that one, so he gets to run the show and do the lead on this one. And I get to sit back and enjoy it a little bit. But anyway, that'll be Sunday at 3 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock London time with Shelby Fournette. And that's going to be a great show. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I got a lot of work still to get done. I've got several videos that are in the pipeline that'll be coming up shortly that I've been working on forever and just trying to get everything cranked out again now. Anyway, as always, folks, thank you for being with me. And don't remember, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe to keep up with the latest in travel and cruise industry news, the latest in cruise ship reports, calling cruises themselves, and our chats, which are the Cruise Amigos live from Virginia and live from London. So that's it for today, folks. I'll be back if anything major happens. If not, I'll see you guys on Saturday morning. As always, stay safe. Wear your mask if you have to go out. Remember social distancing. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll look out for the idiots out there. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Thanks, guys. See ya soon. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.